Yes, I've got you under my skin. I've tried so not to give in. I said to myself, this affair ain't never gonna go too well. But why should I try to resist when, baby, I know too well that I've got you.
Hey, thanks for joining again. Welcome back. Or maybe this is your first time. If so, welcome. That'd be weird, though, I think, to start in like 8 episodes deep. Anyway, my guest on this podcast is the very, very talented comedian Ryan Stout. He's got a half-hour comedy special on Comedy Central. He's in a movie called Mank on Netflix right now. He's a writer and performer in Hell Den and Sci-Fi. He has 3 albums, one called Man in the Suit, another one called How to Be an Audience, and his, I guess his first called Touche. Listen to him on Spotify, wherever you can find him. Very, very funny guy, as you'll see. Known Ryan for a while. He's done a bunch of the shows that I produced, Brewing Comedy, and he actually did the last Brewing Comedy before the pandemic hit, I think, and we talk about that a little bit. I don't know what to say, man. He's just a really super amazing comic and a fun dude to talk to, and I really had a good time, and I hope you enjoy listening to him chat about all kinds of stuff. So, but we geek out on comedy too. So, anyway, enjoy this this podcast with Ryan Stout.
Shut the fuck up. You shut the fuck up. This is what I look like. If you're a female or a minority, you've come to recognize this look as the problem. Yeah, the man in the suit. Yeah, I feel that way about stand-up. I always listen to lots of records, but watching the special, I really didn't. Well, as a kid, I didn't have access to like HBO really, but listening to the album, I could, Theater of the Mind was much better anyway.
Yeah, you get really close to it. You get really like in it.
Yeah. Well, you get to take it wherever you go, and you get to have it in bed at night. You get to have it in all of your favorite places.
That's how I learned like stand-up, is secretly listening to headphones and,
I thought you were going to say that's how you learned English. And I was like, Christ, where are you from? I didn't know this about you. This podcast is going deep already.
Oh, man.
What is this podcast, by the way, Matt? How long have you been doing this?
You will be episode number 8, I think.
Nice. Got in there.
Yeah. I should not have looked you up, wikied you before, because now I'm very... I'm like, God damn, dude, you're really, really cool stuff that you've done. But your wiki is funny because it says, most recently, in 2010, he released a half-hour comedy special.
Yeah. I don't update language. That. And you might notice that at the top, there is some sort of Uber wiki user who has put a label on it being like, this account doesn't reference enough things on the internet. There's some sort of warning label at the top. And I look at that like they've flagged me as illegitimate or something like that. And I don't know how to use Wikipedia. I don't know how to go in there and update things.
You can update things it for
away,
yourself.
But I'm just all right, that's fine.
It just cracked me up. It made me think that you did it.
Oh, yeah.
Like that you wrote it that way because it's so, I don't know, it's just ironically funny and right in your Right up your alley.
Most recently, 10 years ago. Yeah. And by the way, as of today, talking, my wife is having a fun day because I've only done background work in one film ever. And that film came out last night at midnight. And it's the new Gary Oldman film, Mank, directed by David Fincher. And Amanda Seyfried, and all the reviews of it are like enormous. And you can clearly see me in the film doing whatever. And my wife is like, yes, we got you in a movie. That's what we needed. Like, it's just celebrating it all. So you're talking about most recently in 2010. I'm like, I'm in a movie today. I've been getting blown up all day.
And killing it, because the media that you're doing, the press.
Oh, I know.
Is my
podcast. To promote
the film. Oh, Christ. How are you, man? How are you doing? You did the last show before the world collapsed at Brewing Comedy.
Yeah.
And,
yeah. That was, because strangely enough, I think I did that show on, what day of the week did you guys do that? Tuesday, Wednesday?
No, it was a Friday. The one you did was a Friday.
Yeah, Friday. Because the following Wednesday, I flew to St. Louis. Like, people are already talking about how bad COVID is.
Yep.
And I flew to St. Louis. The news the whole time I was in St. Louis was don't gather with people. Meanwhile, the club's having shows every night. Mm-hmm. The club owner is a straight up, he believes every word out of Donald Trump's mouth. So the club owner is like, yeah, it's a hoax. And this is, big deal. It's the flu. Who cares? And sure enough, like, people are gathering, and, it's a virus that's spread asymptomatically. So I have drunk women like running over to me, like breathing hard in my mouth going, don't worry, I'm not sick. And I'm like, good to meet you. But attendance was certainly a little lower than it normally is at that club. And then LA like shut everything down that Friday. Yeah. Started telling people to stay at home. It wasn't officially ordered, but like, I know the Improv and the Comedy Store and whatnot, they closed on like the 15th or something. And then the 16th, I've still got another show in St. Louis. And I get on stage in St. Louis and do the show. And the next day I fly again. And there's people on the plane with masks, wiping down everything, travelers. And once I got back to LA, I was like, okay, I guess we're staying inside for a while.
Yeah.
And then that Friday, the mayor got on and was like, yeah, we're going to really lock it down, everybody. And then I haven't been on stage since then.
Yeah, it's
so
insane.
I did your show. I did a week of shows at a club, and that was it.
It's so bizarre to think how, like, March, we were already stupid for being outside with other people, I think. Like, it was already too late. We didn't know that, and it hadn't gotten as far, but, like, I was on a plane in March too. March 13th, I flew. And I was scared to death. Like, my buddy was giving me all kinds of shit because he was like, come on, it's no big deal. And then that morning, like, I was like, we got to get out of here, man. We were like on a ski trip. And I was like, we got to leave here because we shouldn't be here. And I like wrote up the last day. I'll never forget. Like, I was basically having a panic attack. Like, we got to get out of here. This is getting really bad. And he was trying to calm me down. And when he got nervous, because he's always like rock solid, like, don't worry about it, it's probably fine. When he was like, yeah, I'm going to change my flight. Like, his wife called him, like, they're closing schools. And we were like, we got to get the hell out of here.
Yeah, or we might not ever get home.
Yeah, so I was like, I don't want to get stuck here. And so we changed our flights, and they were that night. But we still had, like, lift tickets. And we're like, well, we might as well ski because we can't really leave here. And we paid. And it's like... So we skied half a day, and I swear to God, on my last lift ride, I'm sitting next to a guy, and this will make sense when you hear where he was. He's bragging about where he's been. He's been on this gigantic ski trip around the world. He had just come from Australia and Japan and been out at a concert so hammered the night before that he couldn't even see straight. He's bragging about this whole story, and I'm like trying to get away from him. I'm like, I am next to the outbreak monkey. Like, this guy has been everywhere that they say in the news even then, it was a trip, dude. So yeah. it was stupid, but
on the flight to St. Louis, that was probably the 12th or the 13th. I remember very specifically getting on the plane, and it was sparse, there weren't a lot of passengers. I had a row to myself, and I just sat there and didn't touch anything. They came by with drinks, and I said, no, thanks. And the only thing I touched the whole time was my phone, and then I got off the plane. Yeah. And even when I touched the seatbelt, I was like...
What is that, like 4 hours to St. Louis?
Probably, yeah. But I was just so aware of it going out.
Yeah.
And then coming back was the exact same way.
Dude,
Again, I had a row to myself, but...
The plane wasn't half as scary as the bus from the plane to the terminal.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
At LAX. Like, I went into that little side airport thingy and had to get on that little terminal bus. And I was like, holy shit, just sardined into this bus.
Is this at LAX?
Yeah, at LAX when I came home on the 13th.
See, I was worried because I was on American Airlines, and I was like, if they send me to that little terminal and bus me back, I'm going to be so angry. Fortunately, I got to a decent gate, got the hell off. And what really killed me was, again, like people just not listening to the news. I'm standing at baggage claim outside. Like I'm outdoors looking through the glass to see if the carousel starts. And everybody else is just packed in. Carousel hasn't even started, and they're just standing there waiting for their bags. And I'm like, are you crazy? How
bad did we fuck up the messaging on this one?
Well, I mean,
it's so crazy.
That is the ultimate crux of the situation, which is this should have been just a home run for Donald Trump. He should have gone to the cliche playbook and said, hey, we all need to unite over this. We all need to listen to the experts. We all need to come together as a country.
Yeah. He would have been the world's greatest president if he had beat this.
And by the way, whenever there's like definitive tragedy and like you should be afraid, that is a godsend for any United States president. Because it's, I mean, how are you going to screw that up?
Nation. Yeah. It is. It's unbelievable that he could have made a different decision and actually not only changed the course of the disease, but also probably cemented himself, despite all of his shortcomings, as a really good president in that scenario.
Right. And by the way, weird. Very easy for him to do his other favorite thing, which is not take responsibility.
Oh, he could have doubled down on the China thing.
Hey, listen, it's not my fault and it's not the scientist's fault. This is an unknown new virus. We're learning as much as we can every day, and we're going to beat it, but we're going to go through tough times. He wouldn't have been responsible for anything. The problem is he's also a narrow-minded narcissist, and he was very convinced that his only winning hand was the economy. And so he went with the economy on everything. And it was like, oh, buddy,
tough choice.
And that's ultimately what his presidency will be remembered for, is just poor leadership.
I can't wait to read the books on this one. I read that Bob Woodward book that just came out about, during, and it was maddening. I can't wait to read like the real story when we can get some, when people aren't afraid to talk about what actually goes on.
Yeah.
There's too many things that just seem, I mean, I'm sure it's always been crazy and I don't want to know what goes on. But some decorum and what I was thinking about that made me nuts, I wonder what you think about this, is they kind of had to tell him all the secret shit too, right? Or do you think they just didn't tell him? Because he walks out of there with that information in his dumb head and he can go talk to anybody he wants, right?
And they are...
I don't think he's dumb. I have to correct that.
They are concerned about that.
I don't think he's dumb.
He'll gladly sell America's secrets if it benefits his pocket.
Yeah, that's scary.
The thing that I take comfort in is he is genuinely not a curious person. So it's not like he sits
he
down
wasn't
and
listening.
Like, we have to give you the secrets now. It's like they sit down, they're like, what do you want to know? And he goes, that Area 51 thing, is that real? And they're like, yes, Area 51 is a real place. All right. Like doesn't even know what he wants to know. He's right. Just not curious, doesn't read books, doesn't read the briefings, doesn't read anything. He's just, because he's not interested in that. He's interested in what is the news saying about me today? How are people perceiving me on Twitter? Like his curiosity is so narcissistic. It's so worked up in himself that it's like America's Secrets. You could have learned anything and you didn't bother. You didn't bother asking.
You are probably 100% correct. That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, he's a guy that I don't really like to talk about just because, there's not a lot to say other than, does not have leadership abilities and is a liar. And that's really all there is to say. And what kills me is there are even Republicans who go, yeah, that guy's a liar. Yeah. And there are Republicans who didn't vote for him this time because they're like, there's nothing worse than a liar, and this guy's a liar.
Yeah.
And I'm just dumbstruck by all of the people that did vote for him in the 2020 election.
Yeah.
Who also agree that he's a liar.
Yeah, they're just
and
okay.
They're like, we're going to vote for him anyway. And I'm like, if you Republicans believe in trickle down economics, you better believe in trickle down lying out your ass. Because if he does it, all of our government officials are going to do it. And then all of our citizens are going to do it. And then your car dealer, who already does a little bit, is going to do it worse.
It just empowers the asshole.
Every interaction you have, you can't trust anybody.
Yeah, that's true. It's a degradation of trust across the board.
There was a book a long time ago written by this guy named Simon Sinek, and it was called Leaders Eat Last.
Yep.
And did you read that?
I haven't read that one. I read Start With Why.
Yeah. Start With Why, and then Finding Your Why was like a cooperative workbook that he wrote. Yeah. But Leaders Eat Last was kind of fascinating because that phrase tells you everything you need to know. Like if you're really in charge, you understand that the people below you are the ones that do all the work. So you're like, if I'm a general, my soldiers need fed because they have to go out on the front lines. So 100%. Make sure they're fed and then I'll eat afterward. But the idea that Trump eats last, he's at the front of the line. Not only is he at the front of the line, I read that at the White House, after every meal, they bring out bowls of ice cream and everybody gets a scoop of vanilla ice cream, except for him. He gets 2. Oh. Like, how petty can you be that you're like, no, I get 2. And you don't even let people choose. I choose for them. Vanilla. They each get 1 and I get 2.
Do you remember when he filled the White House with McDonald's?
For football players, for athletes. Come by, eat some fast food. Yeah. The things that have happened in the last 4 years that people have to go, remember when he was sitting with the premier of Pakistan, and he said that the premier of India wanted him to negotiate Kashmir? These two countries that hate each other and have nuclear weapons. Uh-huh. And then the premier of India is like, I never said that. I don't know. Why would he say that? Let's try to get these two tussled up into a little rumble. That's a good idea, guy, because you want to feel important. Nuclear powers. Oh, by the way, I was listening to something where he was in England recently, and somebody was informing him about some sort of biological attack, and they said very poignantly, and they're like, a biological attack, mind you, on a country with nuclear weapons. And President Trump said to the English, you guys have nukes. Like, doesn't even realize which countries have or don't have nuclear weapons. And he's going to negotiate what? He's not going to negotiate anything. He's not paying attention to a damn thing. No, just a worthless human being. Did you hear what's her name from Leslie Jones' narration of the news that she posted this week? No. Oh, it's hysterical. Her Twitter feed, she posted a video of herself watching MSNBC play clips of Trump when he was doing his little showing charts and talking about how he still won the election. But she's just talking to it, screaming at the TV, 1 minute clips. Yeah. It's incredible. It's really funny. She's always made me laugh. And I don't know what it is specifically about her but she just embodies just a very specific energy and a very specific attitude.
Yeah.
And she always communicates her ideas so crisply at such a particular volume.
Yeah. Yeah.
Somebody said that the funniest things are when the truth is delivered more quickly than you're ready to handle it. And she does that quite well.
Yeah. She's great, man. My son loves the new female version of Ghostbusters. Uh-huh. Melissa McCarthy and Leslie Jones.
Kate McKinnon.
Kate McKinnon is spectacular. And Kristen Wiig.
Kristen Wiig.
It's
all superstars.
It's so funny. And you can tell that they're like doing improv on screen and just having a blast sometimes. Mm-hmm. And my son just gets the biggest kick out of it. It's like his favorite thing. We watch it all the time. Yeah. And you just got to appreciate how talented and funny are. There's scenes like, it's so impressive when you see that level. And Leslie Jones has that whole cast actually looks like they can just crack each other up. And Kate McKinnon's awesome. So
yeah, I mean, they have all had, all four of them. I've had moments in my life where I just simply tweeted, Kate McKinnon makes me laugh.
Yeah.
Leslie Jones makes me laugh. Like very specific short tweets. And that was all before that movie.
Yeah.
And, cause they're just brilliant. And what kills me is the backlash that was like, against redoing Ghostbusters with women, which like I understood where people were kind of coming from. Like it does seem arbitrary to just remake movies and switching the gender. Yeah. Like if your argument is that gender doesn't matter, then why would switching it matter?
Right. Yeah.
But I also was like, yeah, but how about this? You had 4 people in the old movie who were great. And now they're going to remake it with 4 new, really funny people.
Yeah.
I'm all about that.
And if you like watch them both together, if you watch them right after one another, like in a row, you'd be like, oh, the first one's terrible. Like how like in comparison,
comedy, the shelf life is just the worst.
It's so weird. It's so weird. Almost nothing holds up. Like I feel like Mel Brooks movies hold up, but you couldn't get by making them today. But there's still make me laugh.
You've got too many executives second guessing the audience.
Yeah. It's so weird, right? Like and I haven't seen a good comedy in a while. But when a good one comes, I do appreciate it. I thought Deadpool was really good.
Yeah. Deadpool was incredible.
It's hard I'm struggling to think of a good movie, and we're like out of movies. We're at the end of Netflix. We've reached the end of new content.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Like, there's a lot of documentary and cobbled together things, but the new content is like, man.
Well, you should watch Mank by David Fincher.
Really? That's
with Gary
worth checking out?
And Amanda Seyfried.
And you make an appearance?
And Ryan Stout. Yeah, okay. Watch Mank.
Okay. And then I can see that on all streaming platforms?
Just Netflix and in some theaters for now.
All right.
Yeah, it's weird. Like I have not watched a ton during this whole thing.
Really?
I was never really drawn to the TV. And people want to talk about great sitcoms all the time. I'm like, nah, I don't watch it. The great movies that they thought were hilarious. And I'm like, nah, I didn't see it. And it's just those forms of comedy never struck me the same as stand-up did.
Well, you can't beat the purity and the consistency of stand-up. Like if you're going to watch a well-crafted special, you're in for basically 40 to 45 minutes out of that hour of like really solid, good stuff. Sure. If you're a fan of comedy, and this has been in that department, there's so much good stuff on Netflix. Like it just never ends. I can't keep up. I hear you. I like the scripted genre because I appreciate that how hard it is to do it, to make it actually good. But most that you take in isn't that good. You can hear the script. You know what I mean? Like you can. Right. Well, I think the issue is that to me, the beauty of stand-up comedy is the thing that most people don't want to recognize, which is, when the comedian gets on stage and tells a joke and the audience responds, the comedian goes, interesting.
And then the comedian gets on the next night and does the joke, and the audience responds, and the comedian goes, let's try it again. And then again, and it doesn't matter if the comedian's killing or bombing, the comedian is just looking for what is consistent, what works not only in all these rooms in Los Angeles, but then what can I take on the road to Seattle and St. Louis and Appleton, Wisconsin and Dallas? What are the jokes that work everywhere? And once the comedian finds that, they release a special and everybody at home goes, oh yeah, that's hilarious. And it's like, well, yeah, the comedian only tested those jokes 900 times.
Yeah.
So we know how the crowd's going to respond when we shoot the special.
And
but when people are doing sitcom, it's like the room of writers agreed that it was funny. And then maybe a couple of executives are like, yeah, that's fine.
That's fine.
And then the actors try to pull it off. And then somebody botches it in editing.
Yeah. Too many hands in the pot.
There's no testing.
Yeah. I mean, the craft of comedy is such a long slog.
And I think that's what a lot of people, if they understood that, like on a really deep level, they would understand why they're actually laughing out loud at stand-up comedy way more often than even their favorite comedy movies.
By far.
You know, the number of people, and I would make fun of this on stage sometimes, that people watch Friends and it's their favorite sitcom in the world, and they just sit there slack-jawed watching it for a half hour, and then they go, oh, that's hilarious. Yeah. Really? Did you think it was funny? Because you didn't laugh out loud at all.
You never moved your face. Tell your face it was funny.
You just nodded your head like, oh, it's very good. You responded to Friends the same way you respond to Twitter. You just sit there, dumb-faced, just going, yep, that's good. Yeah, that's good.
I laughed out loud at Seinfeld, but not the whole half hour.
Nope. No. Some of it comes together beautifully, and you go, oh, that's great. That was worth it. But even those
you're not doubled over.
Moments, it's like, you know, a half dozen an episode, which half dozen is a lot when you haven't tested the material.
Yeah.
But then you've got Jerry, who had decades of stage experience to kind of, you know, say, let me put some polish on this a little bit.
Yeah. I just finished his book.
Oh, his newest one. Yeah. I was texting with Richard down at the Comedy Magic Club about it. I haven't picked it up yet, but
you'll appreciate it.
Yeah.
You'll appreciate it quite a bit. Especially if you watch. I think the most interesting part to me was the translation from book to I've seen him do these bits. Right? So you can hear his cadence. You can hear him speaking the bits and know that some of them that landed in the show were written 15, 20 years earlier.
Yeah.
A throwaway line that he wrote in the 80s turned into, you know, one of the best parts of an episode here or there, you know, and he's always been the through line of the things that have always kind of pissed him off. And he's always chipping away at those same things. And it's just a beautiful, like, encapsulation of a person over a decade, over a career like that. And it was really fun to read it, you know, because it was just transcribed notes. But to think that somebody would give a shit about your transcribed notes someday is pretty interesting. Mm-hmm. That means you've been, you know, eloquent enough in your life that people are like, well, let's see what else they got. You know, maybe there was some gold in there, right? Like Prince's catalog, or now, you know, Eddie Van Halen's back catalog, those tapes that nobody's ever heard. Like, you know, it's probably some amazing shit in there, you know, because artists are their own worst critics. So there's probably stuff that if you, as a fan, you'd be like, this is the most amazing shit ever. Why didn't you ever release this?
Right.
And it's because, like, well, it was shit. Right. And
well, it wasn't working.
Yeah.
Well, and that's part of stand-up that the audience doesn't understand either. I got off stage at a comedy club, and one of the writers for, I think it was a writer for Conan, as soon as I got off stage, he was like, hey, that bit you did about, and I don't even remember what the bit was about. He was like, that's so funny. And I said, oh, I appreciate you saying that. I agree with you. The audience doesn't think so. And he said, what? I said, yeah, these people didn't like it. And that's like the fifth time I've told the joke. Audiences do not dig it. And he says, tell me the joke again. And I tell him the joke again. And he goes, yeah, that should work. And I said, I feel like it should work too. But you know what? even now, talking with you now, Matt, I can't tell you what the joke is. Do you know why? Because that's the rule of stand-up. The audience decides.
Yeah.
And then if they decide it's bad, well, then it doesn't live further.
Yeah.
I probably have it in a notebook someplace. I can go back to through my dated notebooks and find like, where's that thing that I was talking about?
Or one day another puzzle piece will show up and you'll be like, that's the tag I needed. That's the piece I needed to fit that dumb joke that never worked in.
Sure. But it is weird to think that if everybody were as comedy savvy as the writer for Conan, if those people were sitting in the audience, they would already have decided like, yeah, that works.
Right. Yeah, that should work. But like it's a formula.
There's a huge delta between the audience and how they feel, and then comedy creators and how they look at what gets crafted and what is good work and what comedians find to be good work. The audience goes, yeah, I don't feel like it is.
Yeah, they tell you with their face.
And by the way, the audience always wins. So great. Your ignorance means that new thing just goes away now.
Yeah. Dude, you are masterful at playing crowds. Like it's partly because of your material and the way you do it, but it's so fun to watch. Like you're so fun to watch. I feel like as a comic, it's fun to watch because I know what you're doing, but also it's like, I don't want to be behind the curtain sometimes. I just want to be on the ride also.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? The first time I saw you was at the Improv, packed out, and I was like, holy shit, like you destroyed. It was so fun. And then you do that same thing wherever you go, the shit rooms that I did, like it just have to give it up to you, man. Like you're very good at it, and I know you appreciate it. And that's why I love talking to you about it, because you are doing that craft. You're like the guy that's thinking about it as nutty as I am, trying to think about it and make it work, because it's the craft.
Thank you. Yeah. I, out of curiosity, how would you describe like how I do crowd work? Just because I like to hear it from somebody else's perspective. Because I also don't know if what I'm attempting to do is being achieved. Because, a laugh is very non-specific. And sometimes you don't know, are they laughing at this thing? Are they laughing at that other thing? Are they responding to my anger? Are they responding to, like, what are they responding to? So I'm kind of curious what you're responding to with the style of crowd work, I guess.
Well, I don't want to diminish it, because knowing what I see as the formula of it could diminish it. But what I see is all the time you build everybody up, slap them down, remind them that you slapped them down and they're stupid for having been slapped down. And then you get mad at them regardless of how they react. Generally.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's
and
what
it's
I'm doing.
Great. It's beautiful to watch. Like it, and it's, it's so fun. It's just so fun.
And I don't know if you've been at any of the shows where, like, when I'm actually doing that and doing it well, and the audience is responding in a way where they're like, "Oh, we get it. This is the game.
Yeah,
we get it,
and we're in, and we're in."
So we fly together, and when I'm building them up, they really get built up. And when I slap them down, they laugh hysterically. Yeah. Because they're like, of course you're going to slap us down. You yanked the rug out from under us, you asshole.
How are you going to do it this time?
Like, my nephew, when my nephew was just a little baby, he was less than one. He was probably like 9 months, 10 months old. He broke his arm. And he's got a cast on his arm. He's got a little broken wing. And he's getting up to play with me, and I keep shoving him down. I'm shoving a broken arm baby down, and I won't let him get up. And he is laughing and laughing. He thinks it's the funniest thing in the world that this big, powerful adult who is not threatened by him in any way is still not going to let him up. And he's just, every time I knock him back down, he laughs so hard. Yeah. And I'm like, yes, that is what I would like the audience to get into.
Yeah.
And yet you've got this cultural thing happening where people are saying, never punch down. And I'm like, No, it's okay to punch down.
Yeah.
It's totally fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. A broken arm baby can take it. I'm sure you can take it as an adult.
Yeah.
But I also don't know if you've ever been in a show where that game is happening and I tell them like, guys, I know I'm yelling at you and I want you to know I'm not really yelling at you. I'm yelling at my father. And the message is, what do you want from me? And when the audience like is really having a good time and I do that line and they realize like, oh my God, there's like a psychosis beneath all of this. Like that, they find that very enriching.
It is just spectacular, dude. Just so good. And
well, thank you. And by the way, I think that's kind of one of the reasons why my stand does not get really selected as often for television, because even though the jokes are written and even though I set up the audience the same way and smack them down the same way, for a lot of unsavvy television bookers, they don't realize that it's material and they think I'm improvising. They think I really am doing crowd work. And they go, but what's he going to do on the show? And I'm like, I'm going to do that just the same way I did it in Dallas and Tampa and Boston and Seattle. We're going to do that to the audience on the TV, just the way I do it to all the audiences again and again and again. And it's going to be the same thing, word for word, with the same timing. And they're going to moan at the exact same place. And then I'm going to make fun of them for moaning at the exact same place. It's all crafted. And the TV bookers just don't get it. They just go, no, he's doing crowd work. And so it's this struggle that I do stand up differently than kind of the status quo recognizes stand up to be.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was thinking that your biggest issue is that not enough people know who you are because there is just so many people. You know what I mean?
There's a lot of competition.
Yeah, but yeah.
And when I say competition, I mean for people's attention.
For people's attention. You know, here's the thing: is your ability to do what you do will appeal to so many. You just have to find them. Mm-hmm. And I feel like, especially now, there's never been a better way for you to, for free with no gatekeepers, go fishing to find them.
Right.
But I don't know if what you can do. Well, I know you can, because I'm talking to you now. I'm cracking up. Like, you're just a funny person. You're just funny. But
right.
Like, your stand-up can't happen like you're used to it happening right now.
Right.
So what a better time to go find your people than while they're waiting to be able to come see the real deal. It's almost like you could go get more now than you ever could waiting for you to return to do that thing you do to them. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't do your best thing.
Yeah.
Because that's live.
It's right.
You know,
I think it's just one of those things that it's hard to, well, it's funny because it's hard to market that. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Hey guys, come when we get to do live shows again, come to a show. Let me build you up, and then let me smack you down. Let me push you like a broken arm baby. You're gonna like it. No, you're gonna like it. I promise you're gonna, because I'm good at it.
Yeah. It's nuts, man.
And it is funny too, because the way you talk about, you know, now's the best time for people to be like reaching out on the internet, finding their audience. And I agree with that. I think the hardest part is like somebody sitting at home looking at their phone. Like, how do you cut through the mound of stuff that is thrown in front of their face every day from really talented people, everybody from Bill Burr to Dana Gould to Sam Morrill to, you know, people who aren't as famous, like Mike Merrifield, who's released 6 albums. And, you know, and by the way, those are just the white guys. Right. I'm not even talking about anybody else. Just competing with white guys, the competition is impossible. Once you open it up to everybody, it's like, oh, how do I just get you to see my video?
Yeah.
And I think that's something that everybody's going through right now. How do you and I kind of know the answer. Like, you stay on top of the trash heap. You just throw more trash on top of the trash heap every day. You know, I see so many people just, you know, straight up talking into their phone. Yeah. You know, doing a quick little 19-second video, and then they post it, and then they move on. And it's just do more. And the quantity is beating quality right now.
100%. Yeah. Well, it's people battling an algorithm, right? So everybody's battling the algorithm for attention. And I think what's missing a little bit is the thought around the long game of this whole thing, because it is such a crapshoot on the number of platforms. Like, look, Instagram just launched or Twitter just allowed stories, and somebody else has fleets or whatever. Like, there's so many different things. I'm like, okay, so what this whole Twitter thing is doing very clearly is now they've decided they are going to go right at Facebook / Instagram. So now Twitter has all the functionality that Instagram has without the old people that are still on Facebook. So, and no pictures. So it's like, it's only a matter of time until it looks just like Instagram, if they keep going down this pattern, because Instagram is the Facebook monolith and there's Twitter, right? So as a artist that's trying to find people and gather your fans or whatever crowd, people that care to take in what you're putting out, you're stuck like, okay, so now I'm on a 6th platform. Now I have to have TikTok. Like, the key is to get the engagement regardless of where that goes.
Right.
With a deeper connection with people, right? So like, it's such a weird, that's one of the reasons I started doing this, because I was just like, well, because you can't talk to people anymore face to face. So we don't have, like, if there's a concept for this podcast, we would normally get to hang out after a show and shoot the shit for a while. That's why. So it's like,
and you really needed to hang out with some people. So you started a podcast.
Exactly. And I don't honestly give a shit if anybody listens to it. And I put it up to put stakes on me to do it. Like, now I have an assignment. It's homework. Once a week, I have to post a podcast, which means I got to book somebody and I'll have a fun conversation. So that's the reason. That's it. But at the same time, like, maybe it'll connect somebody with somebody else, or maybe somebody will hear something that I have on that lights them up or gives them a good idea or a new idea or something. So it's just like, all right, why not? You know?
You know, I had this theory about social media where, you know, it starts off with YouTube, and it's like, you be the TV, you do it. And then a lot of people went, yeah, I have always wanted to be on TV, I'll do it. And then they tried it. And then they realized, like, a whole bunch of people are better at this than I am.
Yep.
I don't want to be here anymore.
Yep.
I don't want a tube. And then they were like, oh, Twitter. Oh, I don't have to write a big, long blog. I can just give my thought in like a few short characters. I love that. And what they found was some people were really good at that. And then some people weren't getting famous from it, even though they would do it a lot. And they went, well, I don't want to do this anymore. What can I do? And it was like Periscope. They're like, oh yeah, that's what I want to do. I want to do it live. I want to do it live and just like talk and just be me. And they realized, like, oh, some people are getting famous from this, but I'm not. So I'm going to move on, and I'm going to go over to those 6-second videos, Vines. They're like, it only has to be 6 seconds. Yeah. I can do 6 seconds. And again, they realized, oh, I'm bad at 6 seconds. Other people are really great at it. I suck at it. What am I going to do now? Let's do Snapchat. I bet I could do something. And then if it's bad, it just disappears. So who cares? Yeah. And you've got all these Americans chasing fame, just migrating from platform to platform, hoping that they click on one of them. Yeah. And then once they do, that platform goes away.
Yeah.
I in 2008, I was huge on MySpace. Huge. Because I was on MTV all the time during those years. Yeah. And then people migrated away from that and they went to Facebook. And my Facebook filled up with my full 5,000 fans or whatever really quick, or 5,000 friends really quick.
Yep.
And I had to create a fan page. And then we got some people to migrate over to that and whatever else. We merged things. But then Facebook changed their algorithm.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden people aren't seeing my posts anymore. And Facebook wants me to pay for the posts. And it's like, as much as we love these platforms, you've got this double problem where once the platform knows you need them, they punish you for it. And then you've got the audience that when the platform isn't working for them, they abandon the platform to go to one where they can get famous. And so when Instagram came out, I immediately was like, I'm not doing this. And sure enough, that's the one that's been it's really stuck the hardest.
Yeah.
And I think one of the reasons it stuck the hardest is because people were like, oh, not only do I love sitting here looking at sex all day, because that's what people are looking at on Instagram.
Yeah.
It's just the hottest people you can imagine. Yeah. And they've got 170 posts, 3.2 million followers.
Yeah. Oh, it's
and it's
crazy,
yes,
dude.
that person's gorgeous. You're just waiting for them. I mean, it's softcore pornography, top to bottom, and people are just scrolling through, feeding their brain sex, and that's what's most popular on that platform.
Yeah, that's so true. It's real money too. People would get paid to post once. If you had 1 million followers, you were paid just gigantic amounts of money to post with a product or something. And I was always just like, well, this is going to get old really fast because if I don't believe you anymore.
Right.
So
and
if you stay authentic.
How many accounts am I going to see posting? Products.
Yeah. And then it turns into a store. Mm-hmm. So the only way is real engagement that is opted in by those people.
Right.
So email will still work, I think, forever, maybe.
Yeah.
As a medium.
Mm-hmm.
Your own content that you put somewhere, whether or not somebody asked for it or not. Right? And podcasts. Because there's no gatekeepers yet. And I was so angry that Spotify took over and made Rogan's podcast be exclusive to Spotify. Because I'm like, that's fucked up. That goes against the whole idea of put it everywhere for free always. Because, that's how you get more people. I couldn't believe they would do it. But you know what? It's a nice platform to use. And I know artists are getting paid because it's tracking the digital downloads. They could do better with the shares they pay per download or stream or whatever. But dude, I don't know about you, but I'm glad they're digitally monitoring that shit and telling me how much it's playing, because now I get royalty checks now that are bigger than ever because they actually pay attention.
Huh. Yeah.
Before, people would write it down for music, right? So people would write it down in a logbook. We played this record 3 times. Now they play 8 seconds of my song during the Jersey Shore in Czechoslovakia. I get paid.
Right.
Because the digital rights. It's this is good for artists if you have your shit together and can find your people.
Right.
Never been a better time for that than now, but it's still weird. It's so much. And your whole point about the platforms is so dead on, because the point is, regardless of platform, quality rises to the top of that medium.
Right.
In those places.
Well, and even I think there's issues there because you have comedians I was really impressed that Michael Malone released his own 1-hour special and released it on Amazon and got so many. I think he's up to 1 million views on Amazon.
Excellent. Yeah.
Which is enormous. To have 1 million people watch your product is wild.
Yeah.
But what's weird is if you were on a different platform like Netflix, you'd have more people just simply stumbling across it and going, well, let's watch this. Well, let's watch this.
Yeah.
And they see your name there on the screen again and again and again. And then you get to be a superstar. And it's just really weird for me.
That's an algorithm too.
Yeah. I mean, we're entering this time where platform is king. And I'm like, why is the audience agreeing to this? And it's laziness.
Yeah. But it's like my buddy did a TED Talk, and the title of it, I believe, was originally supposed to be Your Content Doesn't Matter. Which is like, you can keep putting shit out. Like, you just do it. Just keep creating, because you'll find your people. It's that idea of like, connection is what you need. And how much do you need to live and sustain your life as an artist, right? That's the difference. Is, are you trying to become famous, or are you trying to sustain being able to create your art all your life in comfort? Which is a whole different conversation. We're trying to do it stupidly here in Los Angeles, right? We're like, you could do what we're doing not in Los Angeles and sustain somewhat of an, like, you have a kid, right?
No, I don't.
You don't have a kid. Okay, no. Good. But just, it's expensive here. And
wildly. Yeah.
When you can't go anywhere now, it's like, why am I living here still? Is there still a reason to stay here? I don't know. I don't know. The weather's really good.
The weather is really fantastic, and the Thai food is nice. But so since I grew up in El Paso, Texas, I did not have access to great sushi. I couldn't get Thai food at 2 a.m. I couldn't, there were a lot of restaurant just choices out there that were not at my disposal. They were all
barbecue.
New York style pizza that's actually New York style. Diners that were not Denny's. That kind of thing. You think if you're eating 3 meals a day at a restaurant, you're like, oh, LA's kind of nice. I like all my choices here.
Oh my God. Yeah, it's interesting.
And by the way, entertainment as well. It was probably last year, 2 years ago. I think it was last year, 2019. I'm at the dog park with the dog. My wife calls me and she says, hey, where are you? And I tell her, and she says, all right, we'll go home right now and change clothes. I got us tickets to Elton John at Staples Center.
Oh, nice.
So I have to pick you up in like 45 minutes. And I was like, okay, let's go.
We have access to one of the meccas of entertainment, and that's true. Yeah.
Yep.
I'm very pandemic focused right now, that nothing is happening anywhere.
Right.
Like, I'm kicking myself for not going to every concert that was a possibility in the last 2 years. That friends are like, hey, I'm going to see it. So I'm like, I don't feel like it. It's a long drive. I'm like, God, I can't go now. Like, the Troubadour isn't open now.
Right.
So that's a bummer. But
you're right. Because of this, because of COVID-19, more and more people are realizing, like, what can we do remotely and what's possible to do remotely. And as they figure that out, you've got Joe Rogan living in Texas, and you've got all sorts of comedians who have fled LA to go to other places, who still are like, yeah, I've got a microphone at home. Send me the script. I'll send you VO for your cartoon. Fine. And to book a job or two like that in LA means you're still poor and have another job. But in Kansas, you're like, yeah, I do 3 or 4 voiceover jobs a year, and I just pay my mortgage that way. I still have to do other stuff to eat, but that's fine.
Yeah. And it's doable. It's definitely doable. That's why I keep questioning the staying here. I mean, long term, but it is beautiful. And you're right. You want to be near a city. I always grew up around cities. I'm originally from the East Coast, Philadelphia area. So, used to cities, and I like cities. So it'll be interesting what this one feels like when we can return to somewhat normalcy.
Well, and what's strange is other cities have such, I don't know, there's a pride there.
Camaraderie.
Philadelphia, a lot of pride in Philadelphia.
Yeah, for sure.
For everything from, the sports teams to even the food and just people being around what they were around when they grew up, like a nostalgia. But LA has so many transplants that it's rare to meet people that are from here, and they're from here and they're still not excited about this place. Like there's no real LA city pride. It's almost like, well, I live in LA and we have the Lakers, so I guess I like the Lakers now. Yeah. And then they go and support the Lakers. But it's like, yeah, but if you moved, you'd gladly pull for Green Bay.
Because they moved to Green Bay from me. Yeah. God, that'd be so
and
cool.
You even change sports. You don't give a shit. It's one of those things that when your city doesn't have any pride, you don't have any pride in your city, and then it empties out like this, you kind of go, yeah, why am I here?
Yeah. Yeah.
Where would you go? If you left, where would you want to go?
Well, the problem is, not the problem, but the thing is that I'm not alone. Like I have my family, so they're kids that are going to school, and I can't just rip them and change anywhere. And I think about it a lot because I'm like, I don't know where else I'd want to live. This is kind of the best spot weather-wise. Like I'm 15 minutes from the beach. It never really gets super cold. There's no bugs. Mm-hmm. It's pretty dope. It catches on fire once in a while and it shakes once in a while, but generally pretty good.
Pretty great. Yeah. There's no typhoons. There's no...
Yeah. A lot of spots are out. I like Northern California a little bit, but it gets a little rainy and foggy for my liking and
gets
cold.
A little chilly, yeah.
No snow, but Colorado's interesting to me, although I don't know if I'd want to deal with that much winter again. That's why I left the East Coast. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's tough to find another spot where I'm like, it's worth it.
So my wife grew up in Miami. I grew up in El Paso, Texas. So neither one of us is really equipped for any kind of winter.
Oh, okay. Where's El Paso? That's south.
El Paso is right on the border of Mexico and New Mexico.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's right on that little tip of Texas. Yeah. It's halfway between LA and Houston.
Texas is so big, man. It's big.
Enormous. It's enormous. It's literally 14 hours drive from El Paso to Houston, or 14 from El Paso to LA.
Do you ever car tour?
Do I ever car tour?
Yeah, like do you tour in a car? Or
I will drive a little bit. I haven't put a lot of miles on that way, other than going kind of up and down the coast of California.
Okay. Yeah, because I toured in a band, and that's one of the reasons I'm so like put off by Texas, because I'm like, it's so big and it's so boring. Like we would cross all those different, in the East Coast, you hit like 5 states a day when you're driving around. Right. And then you hit Texas 19 hours later in a van that can only go 50 miles an hour. You're still in Texas and not even halfway there yet. Like we would play South by Southwest to get to Austin, and it would just be like, yay, we're in Texas. And then nothing for 18 hours. It's just like, oh my God, this is insane. And you didn't see anything either, just flat, empty.
Right.
It's weird.
My little brother lives in Austin. He used to live in San Antonio, but I've made that drive from Austin, San Antonio area back to El Paso. Yeah. And it is nothing, man. There's just nothing happening that whole drive. And that's kind of one of the things, like growing up there, like not a lot of bands came through, because they were like, yeah, we don't really want to drive all that way to get to El Paso.
It's a big ask. Yeah.
And then it's another 8 hours to Phoenix, or 11 if you want to go up to Denver. And they're like, why don't we route elsewhere?
Well, you could straight shot north and hit more states and do like all kinds of like loops on the eastern seaboard. But yeah, man, I to be fair, I haven't spent a lot of time in Texas. That was just like my impression was like, it's too flat and big. I don't like that. I like mountains and nature-y stuff.
Yeah. Well, El Paso, we have the bottom edge of the Rockies. So some of the best, there's a very specific type of rock climbing called bouldering, where you're not going straight up. You're more doing like sideways and doing some overhang type things. And it's kind of free form. And Waco Tanks is one of the best places in the world to to do that. And it's right outside of El Paso.
Bouldering.
But El Paso also has great weather other than the 120-degree summers. It never really freezes. There are no tornadoes or anything like that because the mountain blocks the wind.
Yeah. Interesting. Like
we get some flash floods.
120 deserty kind of hot, or 120 like sticky?
Yeah. No.
Deserty
hot. There's like 10 inches of rain a year, maybe.
Wow. That's interesting.
Versus my wife who grew up in Miami where it just rains every day. At some point it's going to rain. You don't know when it's coming.
Are you guys thinking about going somewhere? Or are you sticking? You think?
It's hard because, certainly we have the conversation of like, what the fuck are we doing in this city?
Yeah.
But we're also kind of curious to see what is this place going to look like.
What's it going to be like next? Yeah.
Once the vaccine kicks in and once, the people who have fled, once they need to come back, like where are they going to go?
Yeah.
How are things going to shake out? How is the business going to shake out?
Yeah.
Because I know plenty of people at agencies who are no longer with their agency. And I mean agents, managers, all sorts of people that got furloughed and then decided, well, I'm retiring or I'm quitting. All sorts of people who had like long show business goals who got fired, just straight up fired.
Oh, wow.
And they're like, wow, I guess I'm worthless to that major corporation. It's going to be a wild shakeup once things come back. And I'm curious to know what it looks like. And I'm very excited to be like, well, I'm still here. So what do you guys need?
What do you need?
Yeah, I never left.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome, man. The beard is interesting. Is that just COVID?
Yeah, a little bit. I think I'd never grown a beard before and there was no reason not to. And I don't know if I like it or if I hate it, but my wife says she likes it. She also says she likes it when I shave, so she's no help at all. I feel very professorial with the beard.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see that.
I feel like I could be Dr. Stout. And when I say doctor, I mean lecturing at a college doctor.
Yeah. You would have to have patches on your jacket.
Not physician, doctor.
Tell me about what you think about making the idea about making records, because we mentioned records earlier and how important they were to you. And I want to hear, I don't know, maybe like, just tell me about making records and what you think about your making records and that kind of thing.
So I think one of my favorite compliments, I like getting compliments from my peers, most of all, because I know that they've experienced a lot and looked at a lot, and for them to go, oh, this is good, is, I hold that in high regard. So it was very nice when I released my last album, which came out at the beginning of 2019. Mm-hmm. Hampton Yount, who wrote for, or was on MST3K and just a funny guy. He tweeted, he was like, hey, check out Ryan's album. He does quality work. And I was like, yeah, that's how I would like to be. That's a good response to that. I was fortunate to have Anthony Jeselnik tweeted that I had one of the greatest album covers of all time. And I was like, oh, that's nice. That's nice. He said he saw it and he was like, I immediately wondered why nobody had ever done that before. So for those listening to this, you can go check out Ryan Stout, and the album is Man in the Suit. And it's I'll
put links in all the show notes and stuff. Yeah. I'll put links in the show notes and all your,
thanks, man.
All your stuff. I listened to that for homework, but keep going.
As far as my making albums is concerned, I want to just make sure that, we talked about, you tour this material around, you try to perfect it, you try to get it exactly, you try to say, well, this is the stuff that works. Well, then you want to get rid of it. Because after I've done this in front of a few hundred crowds, well, I'm not curious to know if this works or not. I know it works. So let's put it down on record and then let's move on with our life. And then if I get an inkling to do an old bit, if there's that little tug in my heartstrings to be like, hey, remember that bit that was always so fun? Let's go do that again. I'll do it. But there's nothing to be learned necessarily from repeating the material to death. Right. You know, once you've figured out that the audience likes it, great, move on. Yeah. There's a saying in the world of painting that, you know, you can keep repainting the same painting over and over. You can look at it and you go, no, it's not quite right. I just want to touch this up here. No, that the sky, I want to give the sky a different shade of blue. I'm just going to get in there and I'm going to add a cloud. You can just keep adding and taking away and redoing, and it's never finished. You could do that. Yeah. And in the world of art, they say you need to follow that old cowboy logic, which is when your horse dies, get off. Just get off. Move on. Get a new horse. So I like to think about stand-up that way. And it's like, all right, I've done the joke 300 times. They laughed 300 times in a row. So let's put it on record and let's stop telling that joke. There's nothing to be learned here now. Yeah. I find it very unfortunate that because there's so much stand-up, there's so much competition in the world of stand-up. We're all competing for attention and we're all trying to compete for stage time. And you had so many comedians trying to pad their resume by saying, well, I released an album and it was number 1 on iTunes. And you go and you listen to the album and it's like, well, it sounds bad. The artwork is bad. The jokes are not really completely thought out. Like you didn't even fill up a full headline set. You only did 32 minutes and it doesn't even sound like you had much of a crowd there. And the crowd that was there wasn't even laughing that hard. So what is this thing? They just wanted to release an album to say they had one so that they could get work. And it's like, no, it doesn't work like that. You need to release a quality album. Yeah. And unfortunately, we've got a whole string of comedians who are not doing that.
It's noise a little bit yeah, I see what you're saying.
Well, they're trying to say, it's like, you know, you meet these comics who they say, yeah, I headline. And you're like, really? You headline? You're a headliner? Where do you headline? Oh, you know, all over the place. I kind of produce my own shows. And it's kind of like, oh, nobody's verifying you to headline. You're going out putting on the show yourself and not necessarily making money. You're just calling yourself a headliner. I see. Okay, that's different.
Okay. That's different. That's a different thing.
Yeah.
But do you...
Go ahead.
Sorry. Have you listened to your own record, like...
on headphones?
Yeah.
You gestured toward your ears.
Yeah, like listen to it as if it wasn't you and appreciate that you did that work. You know what I mean? Because I can hear it. That crowd on Man in the Suit is dying. Like you had them dying from the very first second. And it sounded so fun.
Yeah.
But it's just like you were there and you did it. So I hope you take a minute to like just listen to it like it was somebody else and hear how good it is in that regard.
It is very nice to, sometimes a track will come on from my first album, like on, Sirius XM or something like that. And I'll be sitting there and I'll be listening to it and I'll be like, that was good. That was a good little track.
Yeah.
I didn't remember it being that good. Oh, that's nice. Yeah. And so I like to have a little time, a little separation. There are times where even bits from the second album, and my second album was kind of a concept album because you heard it from the very beginning. It was that classic moment where so many comedy albums, you hear them say, "Are you ready for your headliner?" And the crowd goes crazy because they know they're at an album taping and it's their friend taping the album. Or their family member taping an album. The crowd is so artificially hot. And then the comedian gets on stage and then the comedian can't get the crowd louder than they were in the beginning. Like they start at a 10 and then they work their way down until the album ends at they're about a 6.
Yeah, they're tired. They're tired.
Whereas I wanted to be like, stand-up comedy is not like that. When you perform for strangers and you're not famous, strangers have no reason to laugh at you at all.
Right.
And in fact, they have their arms folded and they're like, I'll laugh if you earn it.
Yeah.
So on my second album, when the MC goes, all right, guys, you ready for your headliner tonight? You hear a tepid response. And you actually hear the MC get upset. He's like, I mean, come on, guys, this is the reason you came to the show. Can you put your hands together, please? Give it up for your headliner. Here he is, Ryan Stout. And then, they politely pop. But if you're listening to that, you go, okay, that's what the crowd sounds like when they're like forcing it.
Yeah.
So when I start to get up and get laughs, those laughs are genuine. Yeah. And by the end of the show, and I remember the show, I got a standing ovation. Yeah. And you can hear the energy at the end of the second album, how it's genuinely hot and loud. And it's like, we started at a 6 and we ended at a 10 because I did my job.
Yeah. 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 I mean, it's neat to, I think that was, that was really interesting to me to see, to appreciate the way an album sounds when you listen to it and you understand how it works and appreciate how hard somebody had to work to get to that material. And I think that is lost on people. I'm sure you've talked to people who are like, I've never been to a comedy club, or this is my first time. I had so much fun. You're like, wow.
Yeah. Wow.
I can't imagine.
And by the way, old people too. I met a woman, she's probably 55, and she's like, this was my first time at a stand-up comedy show. And I was like, you missed the 80s? Yeah. What happened?
Yeah.
I was really just kind of gave a head shake because I was like, what are we all doing? I did a show in San Diego and I'm out. This was a few years ago. Like you could still sell CDs.
Yeah.
And so I was selling CDs after the show, and this girl comes out of the show and she's like, oh, that was great. You were so funny. And she was like, what's this? And she grabs it. She was like, you have a music career too? And I said, no, it's a comedy album. And she said, what is that? Like funny songs? I said, no. You know how you just heard me talking to the microphone and heard people laughing? It's like,
it's that
more of that, but different material. It's a comedy. You never heard of a comedy album? And I was so curious. I probably came off more aggressive than I wanted to, but she kind of like, she kind of felt like I was given a little too much. And she was like, listen, this is only my second time at one of these things.
Yeah, but these things exist.
Well, that's what's going through my head. I'm like, it doesn't matter how many times you've literally been to this comedy club.
Wait, what matters is cars around a circle over and over again? I've never heard of this.
Yeah. You never heard of Steve Martin? You never heard for those listening at home, I'm pointing to the wall behind me that has Steve Martin albums hung on it. The idea that the whole concept of look for stand-up comedy on record. Yeah. People are like, what? I didn't know that was possible. Nobody mentioned that to me.
I think it's so fascinating. I think the audio of comedy is so important and so missed.
Yeah.
For people. It's half of why some shows just don't work.
Oh yeah.
Like some rooms, and I mean, listen, Brewing Comedy was better than Comedy Ahoy from a room sound standpoint. I mean, Comedy Ahoy was so loud because the other half of the bar, but it was dark and it was gross and it was fun.
Yeah.
But like some bar shows, some non-comedy club shows are so hard because the room would never work. Like,
right.
And you're just like, you can't make people pay attention in this environment sometimes, or the lighting's all crazy or just stuff like that. It's.
I had a show at a casino outside of Minneapolis, and we did 2 shows Friday. Both shows were great. Early show Saturday, my opening act, as he says goodnight, he introduces me. I get on stage, he shakes my hand, and he goes, I fucking hate these people. And I was like, yeah, they seemed a little quiet, and I don't know why. I start talking into the microphone, and something doesn't seem correct. And as loud as I try to make my voice into the microphone, like the sound is just not carrying. And I feel like the audience is, anytime you've got the audience like leaning forward, struggling to listen, comedy cannot happen. Right. The audience has to be relaxed and just casually receiving the words. Like the audio has to be that crisp.
Yeah.
And so I am trying to give it my all. I'm doing bits. The audience is getting restless because they know I just got on stage, but it's going to be another hour of me. And they're like, when they're leaning forward, eyes squinting, trying to listen, and then I'm doing that game with them where I'm trying to like make fun of them for not responding. Yeah. They're just getting agitated.
Yeah.
And, got into a big loud fight with one woman. People started to walk out. One guy's screaming at me. And I don't remember what I said to him, but I was like, take it or leave it, buddy. You paid for the ticket. Half the audience walks out, and I sat down on the stool and I smiled and I went, all right, if you're still in the room, I want you to know something. There are a lot of comedians who would put the microphone in the stand and just walk off. They would say that this is not going well, and they would give up on you. And I want you to know, I'm not going to give up on you, and I'm not going to do the B material. I'm going to continue to push, and I'm going to try to give you the best I can give you. And I don't know if you'll like it, but I want you to like it. And I want you to know something else. I'm not going to walk backstage after the show. I'm going to leap off the front of the stage, and I'm going to stand at the exit, and I'm going to give hugs to whoever wants hugs on the way out the door. This isn't going well, but we're going to try. And the audience respected the shit out of that. And we had a great time. I was able to salvage the final people that were there. And very casually, before the second show Saturday starts, the sound guy is like, yeah, I'm sorry. A couple of those speakers, there was a bad cable or something like that. So sound was off. I got it fixed, though. I know that was the hardest show you just did in the last 7 years, but late show should be better.
I changed the cable out, and now the speakers are working.
And so
you were probably just hearing the monitors.
Late show Saturday, great time.
Yeah.
Just like both shows Friday. And to this day, I still get messages from people being like, hey, do you remember when you bombed at that casino in Minneapolis? Yeah, you're not funny. Like people who are just so angry.
Really?
Who were at that show. Yeah.
Wow.
And it's like, I asked one guy, he was like, do you remember that time you bombed in Minneapolis? I said, I remember killing 2 shows Friday. I remember the sound being bad early show Saturday. And then I remember killing late show Saturday. What do you remember? And then no response. No response from that guy. But again, that guy doesn't even acknowledge that he had a hard time hearing the show. Like doesn't even realize that was a factor with how he perceived the comedy. And you go, well, if the audience doesn't know what good comedy even sounds like, if they're just going to judge based on their feelings, and then they're going to be irritated by factors that are out of their control, like they're not going to be a very good judge of what they like and don't like.
Yeah. That's interesting because, well, think about the way people receive audio. Most people aren't audiophiles, A, B, or paying attention, to what they're listening to. So I think eventually it's like a long game too. Like eventually people will realize that they liked it for a reason they can't quite put their finger on, and it might be the sound, or you like something more because of the sound or whatever. Like, I find it really interesting, and trying to dial in a room to be acceptable is like so important. I think, getting a monitor is a game changer for doing shows too. Like it's so important to have monitors because like you said, you want the mic to be the right crispness, the right tone, and you want to be able to use the mic properly and accentuate. And
Well, and people know when audio is bad.
Yeah.
I did this. A guy reached out to me and he was like, "Hey, you're really funny. Do you want to come do shows in my city?" And I said, "Hey, do you know who produces shows in your city? Because I would love to go there and do a show."
Yeah.
And he was like, "Well, I don't know. Like maybe I could produce it. Like I know some people who could help me.
Yeah.
I know some theater people who can come and like do some things with lights and things like that." And I said, "Okay, well, listen, if you want to produce a show, this is what I cost. And you can give me half before I get on a plane and go out there. And then the other half right before the show. And we can do it that way. And that way, if the show is bad, you know, if you don't set up a good mic, if, you know, people don't buy tickets or whatever like that, if you want to cancel the show 2 days beforehand, you know, you're kind of, if you're going to make money as a producer, you're also going to take a risk."
Yeah.
And he was like, "Yeah, I could do that." And he said, "What do I need to know to produce a show?" And I gave him a nice little email. And item number 1 was sound. Item number 4 was sound. And item number 7 was sound.
Yeah.
And it was about, hey, the seating, don't have big tables that reflect audio everywhere.
Right.
You know, try to gather the audience in a small space. Don't have a big echoey room. Yeah. And I show up, big echoey room, huge tables. The microphone is so bad, you can't even make out the words of the opening acts.
Oh, no.
It is just so muffled and echoey that the audience just can't, they can't. So I get up, I immediately take the microphone stand, I move it out of the way, and I tell the audience just with my voice, I'm like, "I'm not going to use that. Are you guys, is that a good idea?" And the crowd rips into applause. Like that's how bad the audio was. The audience hated the audio.
Wow.
But then of course I'm giving away one of my very few tools that gives me power.
Yeah.
You know, the idea that I get to be louder than the audience helps with my timing. Yeah. And if I can't be louder than the audience, all right, well now I'm at a weird disadvantage. How do I play this scenario? Yeah. And it worked out fine. Yeah. But what's really funny to me is how often comedians have the debate of why we don't like performing at colleges. Yeah. And the colleges and universities immediately, like on a dime, turn and they go, "Well, if you don't like doing colleges, maybe it's because you're not funny anymore. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe it's you. Maybe it's because we don't want to hear your rape jokes. How about that?" Like they immediately like create this scenario in their head. Yeah. And I always want to tell colleges, like, slow down. The reason a lot of us don't like it is because your audio sucks. Yeah. You set up a show in the dining hall and you 100%. Have the comedian standing on a picnic table, you know, while people mill about, and there are no speakers. There's no place to really sit. Every single person is hearing the audio differently because they're wandering around. You've got somebody standing on the quad with 2 speakers next to them. Meanwhile, somebody's walking around behind them who can't hear because the speakers aren't facing that person. Audio is your biggest issue. Hassan Minhaj, who everybody should know right now, he's a superstar comedian. Yeah. He's on The Daily Show. He had his own Netflix series. He had Homecoming King was his special. Hassan, I've known him since we were in the Bay Area together. We were in a car ride once, and he's talking about just some of the terrible colleges he's had to do. And at one, he showed up, and they're like, "Hey, so there was like some sort of thing with the venue we had planned. So instead, we're just going to do it in the library." So they stand him in the corner of the library, and there's no microphone, there's no lights. The kids are supposed to sit on the cold library floor and like lean on their elbows. And it's like, yeah, that's why colleges suck, everybody, because you are the worst fucking producers in the world at this. Yeah. And anytime they do a bad show, they blame the comedian. Comedian wasn't very funny. If the comedian were funny, he should have been able to do the library gig. And it's like, no, guys, that's not how it works. So you've got these college producers that they can set up a bad show. They can hang a comedian out to dry to fail, and they suffer no consequence. Right. The producer suffers in no way at all. They just leave full blame on the comedian's shoulders. And they wonder, why don't the comedians like that? Why would the comedians have a problem with that?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's deep. God, I didn't even think of that as a reason. That's probably I was thinking that it was it was hard to speak to people that young and make an impact.
So, you know what? I thought that was going to be a possibility too, but you'd think that would have been true in the 80s when comedians loved doing colleges. And you'd think it would be true in the 90s. And you would think it would be true when college audiences in like places like Tempe go out to the Improv Comedy Club and have a great time.
That's true.
And you go, all right, so it's not an age thing. There's not an age gap happening here. There certainly is an age gap between that comic who decided he wasn't going to do the clubs because they don't pay enough and he's going to get into colleges. And then 15 years pass and he's still trying to do the colleges. And he's like, why isn't it working?
Yeah.
It's like, because your act hasn't evolved and now you're old. You know,
crazy.
The performers aren't completely to blame, aren't blameless. There are bad comedians out there, of course. But when you've got good comedians going, yeah, I don't think I need to do colleges. And then colleges getting huffy, being like, well, you need to adapt or die. Okay, I'm adapting.
Yeah.
I'm adapting by not doing gigs I don't want to do. So that's how adaptation works.
Oh man, I have a question that I wanted to ask that I don't know if I need fucking hooks in this podcast, but I don't know.
Is this the questions you ask all your guests?
I have a spot where I ask a question, but the question isn't always the same.
Huh.
I don't know.
Is it from like Gary's book of questions or something like that? That you're like, we're going to pick a random page and I will go to that page and ask a question from that page.
Well, I wanted to be more clever about it, but then I found all these interesting questions like in lists. Like I pulled together a bunch of lists of different interesting questions, right? So I don't know. This may not survive the, I don't know. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Ask the question.
What from your childhood most influenced your adulthood?
I'm watching stand-up comedy on television all the time, I'd say.
Yeah.
You know, the idea that I remember watching A&E's Evening at the Improv and it came on channel 36, you know, because there were maybe 50 channels.
Yeah.
So channel 36, A&E's Evening at the Improv, Wednesday nights, 9:00, 9 to 10. That's when they would play Evening at the Improv. And I was 8 years old and my bedtime was 9:00. And I would just quietly stay awake and very casually change it to that channel, watch the stand-up comedy silently, and then turn the channel to the 10 o'clock news for my dad and then go to bed. And my parents were kind of like, they allowed that.
Yeah.
Because I think I was just not causing a problem.
Yeah. You were quiet.
And I had always been kind of well-disciplined when it came to bedtime as a kid.
Yeah.
So I often wonder, like, if I didn't watch that particular stand-up program, and then by the time you got to the early 90s, you know, 1992, I'm 9 years old. I turned 10 that year. And you've got all these stand-up comedians who have sitcoms. You've got HBO doing their comic relief. Yeah. You've got Comedy Central coming to its own, and it's doing a lot of acquisitions of old HBO specials. So I'm watching a lot of Paula Poundstone, Cats, Cops, and stuff on Comedy Central. And, you know, you've got VH1, the A-list, and you've got all this stand-up just being bombarded through the TV into my little brain. I often wonder, like, if I didn't have that, would I be doing stand-up comedy? Like, am I just a product of my environment?
I think it spoke to you because with the thing that's always interesting with kids is if they like something, you don't have to ask them to do it.
Right.
So, and if you're doing something like that at an age like 8 to 10 years old, when you could literally be doing anything, you just need to go do something. And to your point, your parents are just like, just leave me alone for an hour. Just give me 1 hour.
Yeah.
That thing you go do for that hour is what you love in your kid innocence, that's your thing, you know? And maybe kids have a couple things, like they like this toy, they like to draw, they like an instrument, whatever the case may be. But nobody told you to do it. Nobody was like, you better go practice playing nobody had to tell me to go practice playing the drums.
Right.
I wanted to play the drums. Nobody had to tell me to play baseball.
Yeah.
And nobody had to tell me to listen to comedy or music.
They'd ask you to stop playing drums.
I don't know how my mother did it. Honestly, drums alone sounds like shit for the most part, especially if you're playing to music you can't hear. Like, it's boring. There's no melody and it's loud as shit. But you know what I'm saying? Like, you were drawn to it for a reason. So obviously it did influence you, but not, I don't think it's the other way around, you know, like you.
Sure. But I do consider the fact that had I grown up in a different era, I might not have had the access. You know, the amount of stand-up that was on TV in the late 80s, early 90s was a direct result of the stand-up comedy boom. And so had I grown up in the 70s, I wouldn't have been able to just turn on 50 different channels and watch stand-up comedy. Yeah,
it wasn't on TV as much. It was very
and it wasn't even on record as much back then. By the time I was old enough to go to the record store, you know, there was a CD section full of, you know, there's a comedy section full of CDs and tapes and vinyl. And I was like, oh, here we go.
Yeah.
Who is Bill Hicks? Oh, what the hell is this?
Oh my God.
Why do all his records have the same kind of titling and look to them? Oh, this is nice.
He was brilliant. He was brilliant.
Found him late. I mean, we all did, because his records were released posthumously.
Well, when did he die? He died in 93, I think.
Yeah, 92 or 3.
92 or 3, but like there was...
I confuse it because I can't remember if it was 92 and he was 34 years old or if he was 94 and he was 32 years old.
I don't remember. It was way too young. But for me, it was those early records and HBO specials. Yeah. They had half-hour comedy hours. Thing. Yeah, Dangerfield's. Think about the lineup that he had on one of those specials. Was like Seinfeld, Dice, Tim Allen, Jim Carrey. Oh man, so many.
I remember Schimmel did one.
Schimmel, oh my God, Robert Schimmel, Dom Irrera.
Yeah. I think Saget did one.
And there was who's the guy? The opener. I'm just the motherfucking king of raps. There's none more funny. Barry Sobel. He came into Comedy Ahoy one time, and I was like, "You're fucking Barry Sobel," and he was like, "Yeah." I was like, my head blew off. I was like, "Oh my God, dude!" Yeah. He was so young in that special, and I watched that when I was like young,
right?
Too. And I don't know about you. Did you like mimic it? Did you memorize it? Did you like?
Yeah. 1,000%.
Parrot it?
I wrote down all the jokes that I liked from Evening at the Improv. I would go through the records so often that it was committed to memory.
Yeah.
There was and it just happened that way.
Yeah.
You know, you listen to something long enough, you just remember it.
Yeah.
But what's really strange is there was one particular bit that I was just in love with, and I would do it for my babysitters. And decades later, I'm on stage, oddly enough, at the Funny Bone in St. Louis, where I was for my last shows before COVID.
Yeah.
And the booker, who's pretty comedy savvy, I get off stage and he goes, "Did you watch a lot of Larry Miller as a kid?"
Oh my God.
And I went, "Yeah, that 5 levels of drinking bit. I memorized it. I did it for my babysitters. I'd never been drunk. I was a child, but I just knew you drink booze and you get loopy."
Larry Miller. Wow.
Yeah.
That's a good pull. What's the bit?
5 levels of drinking. Had you never heard the 5 levels of drinking?
I'm sure I did, but you have to remind me.
Christ, it's been so long now. I don't think I can remember it, but he just talks about how, you go out for a nice night and you have a drink and you say to yourself, well, you know what? I've got work in the morning, but I'll have 2 drinks. And then you know what? I'm good. And then you get to that second level of drinking and then you're fun and you like everybody and you buy the guy at the end of the bar a drink just because you like his face. And then later in the bit, it's like you're at the third level and you punch the guy at the end of the bar just because you don't like his face. And, oh, and who's talking you through this? There's a little devil on your shoulder. And he's like, have another drink. Come on, you get 3 hours sleep tonight. You're good.
You're good.
And by like level 5, the devil's bartending.
Oh my God, I can picture it. Yeah, I know the one you're talking about.
Yeah. And oddly enough, there's only one version of the bit that's very easy to find on YouTube. And it was not the version I remember. But
now, did you remember it wrong? Was that the bit?
What's that?
Or did you remember it wrong? Or was that the only bit? You know what I mean? Like,
I know what you're asking. Yeah, no, it was, maybe it was the bit. Maybe as I did this oddly enough with Robert Schimmel's albums as well. Cause I remember listening to Robert Schimmel's albums and just sitting there crying with laughter.
Yeah. He's brilliant.
Just blown away. And oddly enough, they were recorded at Cobb's Comedy Club in San Francisco. So years later, when I'm on that stage, I'm like, oh, this is where that album was recorded. Those 2 albums were recorded.
Yeah.
But today I listen to those Robert Schimmel albums and I go, this audience should be laughing a lot harder.
Yeah.
What is wrong with these people?
Yeah.
And what happened was I was laughing so hard that I remembered it wrong, that he was just destroying.
Yeah.
When in fact he did this one bit that kind of bombed, and it's one of my favorite bits that he's ever done. And it's about why you don't see him on TV much. And it's about, he goes into this like casting audition and they're like, hi, Robert. So tell me about Robert. And he's like, well, I'm a latent homosexual. And they're like, I don't feel comfortable with this. Get out of my office. He's like, you don't feel comfortable? I have to sneak out of my house to go blow guys behind a dumpster and you don't feel comfortable? And they're like, I never want to see you again. Get out of here. And he goes, listen, I'm really sorry. I'm a comedian. I wanted to break the tension. I really do want to read for the part. Please let me read for the part. And she says, okay, take these sides, go out into the hallway, work on it, and then you can come back in. So he comes back in and she's like, all right, so you're reading for the part of Richard. Tell me about Richard. And he says, well, Richard's a latent homosexual. And she says, get out of my office and I never want to see you again. And he's like, I didn't even want to read for this thing. It's the head of my agency. He's always buttering me up and he's always trying to like, I think he's trying to get in my pants, this guy. And he gets home and there's a message on his answering machine from like the head of the agency being, give us a call right now. But it's this amazing bit and it kind of bombs on the album.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you people?
Yeah.
Such a brilliant laid out paced story.
Yeah.
And they just didn't laugh as hard as I remembered them laughing.
Memories are tricky. Memories are tricky. It's so funny to revisit stuff that I remembered, like, and realize that I got it wrong. There's been a couple of those lately, like a line where I'm like, I'm sure that's the line. I'm sure that's the line. And you go back and watch it, you're like, I don't remember that line.
Yeah.
Like, or it's totally like, it's weird with movies and stuff. But comedy bits too, like, yeah, it's nuts, man. It's nuts.
Well, and you're just the aesthetic of the world changes. You know, I'm watching Larry Miller and I'm like, look how baggy his suit is.
Yeah.
And you realize like, oh, but that's how they wore them at the time.
Yeah. I mean, that was, somebody dressed him like that.
Yeah.
Like,
you want to wear a suit? Here. Yeah. These legs are 6 inches, 8 inches, straight down.
And pleats and the colors. And the 80s were
when
something,
I was going to do my stand-up special for Comedy Central, the half hour, I specifically wanted a clean fitting suit, you know, something that's tailored properly.
Yeah.
And I was very worried about the tie that I would select because neckties date so poorly. And
it's the only thing that switches drastically is the size and width and color patterns that are acceptable.
Yeah. And oddly enough, I went with this tie that was like pink and with like gray stripes. And it was just subtle and it looked classy with that particular suit.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, well, that's it. We'll just do that. It's fine. Had I done it again, I think I would have gone blue.
Really? Blue tie?
Yeah, probably. It's amazing how differently an audience will respond to you depending on your tie.
Yeah.
Which is the opening bit on Man in the Suit.
Yeah. Oh, I love that bit. And the bit right after that is so good too. The crayons, so good.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, that's one of my absolute favorites. That's one of those bits where I do the setup and the audience, and I hit the first punchline and the audience almost always moans. Almost always. And then I get to yell at them for moaning. And they, as a crowd, go, yeah, we should never have moaned at that. Like they always come around. Yeah. And they all go, yeah, you've got a good point. We did overreact a little bit. And that's a good introduction to me. I'm like, yeah, you watch yourselves.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so good. It's so good. And it sounds so good. And it's so fun. And it just reminded me so much of you know, that's it's weird that was the last show and that was so long ago. But I can't remember because I think, when did Man in the Suit come out?
February 2019.
February 2019. So you were probably pretty close to a lot of ready to record material.
Yeah, I would have gotten there, especially, you know what? I've been making lists of material that haven't been on any records. Yeah. And, you know, there is some polish that some of it could use, but I could probably easily record a record in 2021 if a venue were available and crowds came out.
Yeah, I think they will. They're coming out now. I mean, maybe not after this week, but you know, I have friends that are literally doing shows in other cities tonight. Yeah. And
that's a little weird for me.
I would not. I'm like, how do you have the show with a layer of existential dread? Mm-hmm. Like more so than normal, but like it just doesn't seem, it's scary to me.
And worse is the people who don't have any dread.
Yeah.
No, it's a hoax. It's fine.
Yeah.
No, I'm not wearing a mask. I'm not wearing a seatbelt when I drive home either. Yeah, I'm having 8 beers. What of it? Free country. Okay. I can't believe that people don't make that connection. Like the reason you can't drink and drive is because you might kill someone else. Well, the reason you have to wear a mask is because you might kill someone else.
Yeah.
You know, this isn't about just you and your freedoms.
Yeah. Yeah. It's amazing. I feel like we're going to swing back to logic again, which will be really useful. And I don't know. I felt like, I know they didn't call the election. I didn't realize how pent up I was
until they started certifying votes.
Yeah. And then I was like,
I calmed down a lot too.
And then immediately they stopped covering him talking.
Yeah.
Just stopped. Like he starts lying, they turn it off. I'm like, you know, we wouldn't have had this problem if you turned off the mic 4 years ago when you knew he was lying. On.
Yeah.
But it's crazy to watch that happen. And I didn't realize how much better I felt.
Right.
I was like, oh, I feel better.
Sure. I'm going to feel a lot better on January 21st when Twitter decides that it can actually take action against somebody who's using their platform as a lying machine.
Yeah.
Because it's very hard for a corporation to shut the president's Twitter down.
Yeah.
But former president who has lied a lot and you've had to flag all these tweets.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's violated some policies. Let's get him off the platform.
Yeah.
And as we've discussed with platforms and movement.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's done.
Yeah. Yeah. He'll fade away. He'll write books. All the people that still like him will go see him speak for $100,000 a night, and I don't care.
Yeah, it's fine.
Like as long as his show's off the air, I'm good. Because that show wasn't good for us. That wasn't as good for the country as The Apprentice.
Yeah. Right.
Which gave us a nice catchphrase. And,
Yeah. Escapism doesn't fight the virus.
Jesus.
Well, and by the way, I'm very much looking forward to a president who is boring as fuck.
Yeah. I don't want to think about it this much.
Yeah. Great. He's over there doing his thing. Do I have any problem with a conservative Congress saying that the new president can't just do whatever he wants? No problem with that.
Yeah.
That's how government works. You guys fight it out.
Yeah.
I have no problem with you guys fighting it out. Shouldn't be a free for all for any party.
Yeah.
I just don't want to hear about it every day.
Yeah, it's nice. It'll be nice. It'll be nice, quiet. Nice and quiet. It'll be good. We got to get. We're gonna get back to that. You were in the. You were doing the anosmia game before it was cool with COVID.
Yeah, I thought about that too. That there's a fair amount of material that I've built up about how I cannot smell and how this makes a lot of people now relate. When you've got celebrities going on the Tonight Show talking about how devastating it was when they lost their sense of smell, and having America sit there and go, oh yeah, it is scary. And I'm like, where have you people been for my entire life? I tell you I can't smell. You guys go, really? Really?
Is it that bad?
I don't believe that. You've never smelled? Nothing. Smell this. Okay.
I'm just imagining how many thousand people have said that to you.
Yeah.
After a show.
I've had people
God. And hammered.
I had a guy at a bar. We were at an English pub, and he was like, really? You can't smell? Hang on a second. Hey. And he calls behind the bar and he's like, give me that spicy mustard. Yeah. That one. Yeah. And he pops it open and he smells it. And then he holds it to my face. He was like, you can't smell that. And I put my nose near it and I inhale through my nose and I go, no. And he goes, I can smell that. Well, yeah, we're not talking about whether or not you can smell, sir. I'm telling you, I can't smell. And then he was like, hang on. And he grabs a butter knife and he starts mixing it up. Like just trying to loosen up whatever's in there. He was like, nothing? You can't smell any of that. No. Man, you can't smell. Yes, thank you. Thank you. I'm glad you got there. And you know who loves the can't smell stuff the most? The blind. Oh my God. Every time there's a blind guy in the front row, blind woman in the second row, whoever it is, if they are blind, and I'm talking about how I can't smell, they are doubled over, wiping their useless eyes. They love it. And I really wanted to pitch that to Netflix to be like, yes, oddly enough, the Atlanta School for the Blind is right next to the Laughing Skull Lounge in Atlanta. And I'm like, let's shoot a special at the Laughing Skull Lounge. Let's bring the blind people over. And we'll do a special where the guy who can't smell performs for the blind. It's going to tick all your boxes for inclusion and diversity. It's going to be something fun for everybody.
They didn't go for it? Or you're shooting it, aren't you?
Well, I think pre-COVID, they would have been like, nah, it seems hokey. And post-COVID, they're going to be like, great idea. Yeah. Let's do that.
So many people will be able to relate. But now your canary in the coal mine, you're down a canary in the coal mine for whether you have COVID. I smell my coffee every morning to make sure I can still smell. I think, aren't there other symptoms before you get to that one though? I think
Isn't
that
there headaches and body aches and.
No, I think it's all over the map. But I think one of the key for people who are somewhat asymptomatic or don't think they're sick is they lose smell or taste, or things start to taste funny first. Mm-hmm. But I think the smell. Okay,
I didn't know that was first. I thought that was third or something.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think it's all over the place. I think some people get a cough, some people get a fever.
Right. What I mean? Yeah.
But I know, and that's the weird thing is that it's closing in because now I know a lot of people who even recently have been getting it. LA is just getting smashed. But
how did
their
they get
stories
it? Were they
are pretty
just
similar.
being unsafe?
One had to work in a restaurant, unfortunately. And,
yeah, that's how my brother-in-law got sick.
Yeah. But, the stories before they got sick were like, Jesus, nobody's paying attention to these rules. And by the way, how can you eat inside with a mask on? Answer, you can't. How come taking it off sitting at the table doesn't count? It does. It's like, it's pretty nuts. So the other one is really shitty is this person was being so careful and was able to isolate like better, more effectively than most. But the whole time was like studying for this certification, and the certification test was in like, but what month is this? December. It was in like November, but you had to do it on site. So she had to leave, go on site to this building to take this exam for 3 hours with a mask on, and got it. Because you're in a building with 15 other people for 3 hours. If one of them, even if they're not sick, it's just like we just can't be inside for a while. Like we just can't do it.
Yeah.
So,
well, I like how we did this. We wrapped it around the whole way. We started with COVID.
Yeah, and we
went on a little journey, and then we got back to COVID.
I really appreciate it, man. I've had
I like putting
blast.
a bow on it like that. Look at us.
Yeah, hey, it's like we planned it, but we didn't. No, it's awesome, man. I appreciate you so much, and thank you for taking the time to chat. I always enjoy our talks about comedy, and this is probably the longest one, which is really awesome. And it's funny the reach out to ask to do a podcast and stuff, and it was making me not message you on a social platform was awesome. But no, it's I was like, awesome.
you just send me a text message like an adult. It's fine. we know each other. We could talk like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, let's do it again.
I did love
episode 8. I'll come in for like 22 or something.
Okay. We'll wait it out a little bit, get back to the world. I will
unless you text me and you're like, hey, I'm bankrupt on guests. I only had 9 guests, so we're going to need to get you back in.
Let's get back in. 8, 10, 12. And you're now the co-host.
8 and
10. I will put absolutely anything you want in the show notes and all that stuff, all your records. So like, you don't have to, you can plug if you want. This is your chance to tell the people
please, in the show notes, please put,
but I'll link to everything. So if you want to talk about any of that stuff.
Yeah. In the show notes, please leave links to my 3 albums, because that's what I'm proud of. And then my YouTube page, YouTube.com/Ryan Stout. There's a nice little, it's snippets of me performing on various stages all over the world. Mm-hmm. These are shorter clips, like 90 seconds or whatnot. There's some longers on there, like 5 minutes. But there's one 30-minute set where I just talk about suicide the whole time. So maybe people are interested in that. And then... please check out, I helped write for this little show called Hell Den, and it's an animated series, and it's on Sci-Fi. Okay. It's on Saturday nights at midnight, and it's my buddy Neil Gargiulo's series, but he looked at the scripts and he was like, hey, Ryan, can you see if you can give a pass and punch some of these up? See if you find anything. And so I did that for 6 episodes. And so they're on now, and it's a fun animated series where you've got this kid, it's the end of the world, and he's sitting on his couch and he's watching TV, and all the clips on TV are very old television clips, black and white cartoons, stuff like that. And they've been redubbed by very funny comedians. And
that sounds amazing.
The clips are, public domain, so we get to use them. But the new, soundtrack behind them makes them completely batshit crazy. And so this kid is sitting on his couch at the end of the world, and joining him on the couch is like this cyborg, and then like a demon, and a giant foot.
That sounds amazing.
So he's got this weird cast of friends watching TV with him. And it's called Hell Den. So I encourage people to watch that.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Ryan. I appreciate it. I'm glad you're doing well, and I can't wait till we can hang out and do some shows again and keep doing this.
Absolutely, buddy. Let's talk again.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Be good. Be safe. And,
You too, man.
And take care of yourself, and let's catch up soon.
Awesome. Take care, buddy.
All right. Take care, sir.
So deep in my heart that you're really a part of me. Yes, I've got you under my skin. I've tried so not to give in. I said to myself, this affair ain't never gonna go too well. But why should I try to resist when, baby, I know too well that I've got you under my skin. I'd sacrifice anything, come what might, for the sake of having you near. In spite of a warning voice that rings in the nights, repeats and repeats in my ear. Don't you know, little fool, you ain't never gonna win. Use your mentality, wake up to reality. But each time I do, just the thought of you just before I begin. Yes, I've got you under my skin. Hey there, you with the stars in your eyes. Love never made a fool of you. You used to be